Illustrator. My name is Tony Arenas, and today we're going to go over some simple tools with both the color tool, or at least adding in a stroke and fill, changing the colors of the stroke and fill, and how to adjust the thickness of the stroke itself and so forth. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So in this particular video, we're continuing off from where we left off with the actual pen tool. So we have a lot of this shape here. And like I was talking about before, the idea here with a lot of these is you want to make sure you want to start off with that thickness, or sorry, the base of the actual color. So you want to have like an overall color field, and you can readjust from there if you're going to do some shading and everything else. So we have our outline for our phone. And what I could do here is I can select this tool here, and I can easily go into our color picker right here in the upper right hand corner, or use the color tab right here in the left hand corner down here. The best way to do it is you can either double click onto that left one there, and you'll get the color picker there. And then from here you can easily change the color itself, then change the hue of it if you wanted to. So if you want to make it a blue phone, a red phone, yellow phone. For right now, let's just stick it to the actual red. I'm going to go ahead, pick the color, pick the shade of the color up here, and I can see the changes to what I've made from these two panels. So this is the original and this is now. I can hit OK, and I have a fill of that actual color there. I could do the same thing with the stroke. So if I select the stroke, which is this box right here, I can double click on that and do the same thing as well. Pick the color I want and go from there. So these are really simplistic ways to do that. You can also select the things there, so I can easily select the fill. Again, I'm selecting the big box here, and then I can also adjust it from here if I wanted to, so I can see the live changes as I make it through. Now this is RGB, so these are the colors that you would see coming off of your actual screen. You can pick different lab set colors if you wanted to, so if I wanted to go CMYK, I can do that, and this is dedicated more towards print. And then I can also do that with the HSB if I wanted to, huge saturation and brightness with that different styles. I can also grayscale it if I wanted to, make it a more of a different style of gray. So I either go to full white or full black, which is K, go from there. Or I can always go down to this button right here, where these sets of buttons. This box right here with a no line on it is a none button, and I can click on that and I will eliminate the color. This both works with both the fill and the shade, or sorry, the fill and the stroke. So if you don't want a stroke on this at all, I can easily do that. I can select the shape, go to my fill, or to my shape, or to my stroke, and then I can easily hit none, and I don't have anything there. Now this will eliminate all of that, so there is actually nothing there. You can't see anything there, but it's still an object there. It's not deleting the object, you're just hiding it from the overall effect. Now if I wanted to adjust the thickness of the stroke, which is the line that goes on the outside, I can easily go in two ways. Of course, I got the top bar right up here. They're always constantly changing depending on what I'm selecting. So I can easily say, pick a type tool and change that way. But in this case, we're going to stick to this. I'm going to select the object, and then from here, I can select the stroke and increase the thickness of that particular shape there if I wanted to. I can also go to my actual stroke panel, and I can readjust there. If you don't see any of these options here, you will actually be more like this. This is usually the way people see it the first time as I go. I can always go to my show options, and then I have more options here with my actual stroke. Now with this, I can easily readjust some of the corners if I wanted to. I usually just stick to the corners that were already preset. The alignment tool is where I usually make some slight adjustments depending on the actual tone, or if I want certain things to happen. So right now it's centered so that the alignment of the stroke is actually aligned center with the actual stroke of where I made my vector points. I can set it to the inside, which will make the vector points on the outside of the stroke, or I can do it the other way around and have it on the inside of the stroke and everything else is going on the outside. Other options, of course, you can make dashed lines, and this is just very simplistic numbering. So I can say 1 point, and I can make another gap, so I can say 2 points, and then I can also go with 3 points. And then what it's going to do is it's going to make alternating points to go across, so that you have that ability there. I can also add arrowheads to the end of line segments if I wanted to. I easily do there. And then the uniform look is just more of a kind of like a thick to thinness, but I don't really prefer using that much. If I'm going to readjust the thickness, I'm going to go with the width tool, which we'll go over a little bit later. Or we'll go over later in another. We'll go over that in another video. Now, all strokes can be adjusted by the brush tool itself. The brush tool panel gives you options to create some stylistic brushing with your particular tool. You can try some different style of brushes, and there's an actual brush library here that you can pull out some different styles with your brush, so it can go with a more of a chalk style. And I can drag this out, and I can see all the different stylizations with these to see where everything fits and so forth. But if I want to go back to the way it was, I just go back to uniform. Or I'll go back to this top here, hit basic, and then I'm done. We're good to go. Now, both stroke and fill can be filled in with a gradient tool. So the gradient tool allows you to create some really cool gradients, meaning from one color to another if you wanted to. And then also you have the ability to set that through with a different type of gradient for the fill, which is the new freeform gradient. And we'll go over that as well in a new video. We'll go more in depth on how that gradient effect or gradient tool works. So any color that you have here, you can actually bring into your swatch panel here. The swatch panel is a great way for you to store all of your colors, especially if you're working with a very specific color palette. So if I say, let's do a quick adjustment on this again. Let's add in that weird, fantastic colors. Let's say, let's make it more of like a purple foam kind of deal. So I say I like that color. I want to use it across the board. What I can do, there are multiple ways to do to add stuff. So if I grab this from here, I can add it into my color palette, and then that's a permanent color palette for me to work with. And then I can switch it back to the red if I wanted to, and then I can always click on that to go back to there. So once again, this is just a very simplistic overview on using colors or using the palettes here, or the ability to grab color and move them into effect. We'll go over a little bit more tools that you can use too. You can always, again, use different styles and stuff. You can even use like other tools involved, like the eyedropper tool. So I can grab specific colors from different areas if I wanted to, that kind of idea. But whatever you want to do with your actual shape, just pick a color and you can run with it from there and then just build upon that. So once again, my name is Tony Arenas. This has been a quick and easy short video on the colors and with stroke and fill of shapes.